Hey yo, what is up ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Christian, but you already knew that, and we're back at it again with another video for the day. With the World Cup getting closer every single day, we are now less than 2 weeks away from the tournament starting, and we cannot be more excited. What a better way to get prepared and to take a look at some of the teams that could potentially make an impact in this tournament that maybe you hadn't even thought of, some of which you already knew, some of which could be probably a surprise. So let's go ahead and go straight into it. And one of the teams that I think might make an impact that a lot of us aren't really aware of is Denmark. So Denmark might have flown over the radar over a ton of people, but if you've been following them, you know, look a little back into the history, see what they've done. In 2018, they're actually round of 16, if I'm not wrong. They got eliminated by Croatia in terms of penalties. But if you go forward just a little bit in Euros, in the Euro 2020, which was played in 2021, they actually lost to England in the semifinals, which is very interesting to see how far Denmark could progress in terms of Europe. And might be interesting to see how key players like Christian Eriksen, Yusuf Poulsen, and Simon Kjær and Emir Pierre Højbjerg might do. See how this whole thing works out. See how far they could actually make it in this tournament. See if they actually could go further than maybe round of 16 this time. I think it'd be very interesting to see what they can do in this tournament. I think they might have flown over a lot of people's heads, interestingly enough. Moving on then, another team that could potentially be doing something in terms of this World Cup is Portugal. Portugal is probably one of the favorites to go ahead and go on and do it. You know, I think it's more of a Cristiano Ronaldo bias considering it is his last World Cup. But I think Portugal has a nice little balance of experience and nice youth players in which they could probably balance out and probably progress further into the tournament than some of us believe. I think there is a possibility they could be finalists. I'm not sure though, because of the way Fernando Santos has managed this team in the past. It's kind of questionable. It's getting kind of difficult to predict where this man is going. I see what his plan is for Portugal, but you know, along with players like Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo, Gonzalo Guedes, Rui Patricio, Pepe, it's going to be interesting to see how far they could push it and see how much Cristiano Ronaldo can take Portugal onto his back and carry them in terms of this World Cup, because we know he wants to win this one, considering it is his last. So it'll be interesting to see how far Portugal can progress into this tournament. Following after Portugal, I have a team who didn't make an appearance in 2018. They didn't qualify for it. Surprise to most people. And it's the Netherlands. The Netherlands didn't qualify in 2018. Last appearance was in 2014, where they ended up losing in the semifinals to Argentina. But the Netherlands are historically pretty good in the World Cup. They just, unfortunately, have never been able to win one. But if we go back to the last World Cups they were in, 2010 they were finalists. In 2014, they ended up in third place after they lost in the semifinals. So it'd be interesting to see how the Netherlands can progress, what impact they're going to make on in terms of the tournament, considering they haven't made an appearance in quite a while. But players like Frenkie de Jong, Luuk de Jong, Memphis Depay, De Ligt, Cillessen, we're going to see how well they can position themselves into this tournament, considering it might be their first, and see what they can do, see if they can push another semifinal, another final maybe, because they are looking kind of dangerous and they're looking pretty good. Right, so next team that's one to watch for me is Belgium. Belgium have had a plethora of nice players, but they haven't been able to do anything in the international scene. 2018, they came out on third place. Euros, they haven't been able to do much. 2014, they didn't do much either. But it's surprising really with the likes of players like Kevin De Bruyne, Thibaut Courtois, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, or like all these types of players, and they haven't been able to do anything, you know, with Hazard, both Hazards, anything. It's kind of sad, to be fair. It's Belgium's golden generation, so it could be their last final run as most players are aging. So it's going to be interesting to see if Belgium can finally break through and finally go ahead and do something with this group of players that they have, this nice generation of players they have. It'll be interesting to see whether or not this year is finally the year for Belgium. Can they do it? I mean, their players have been on form lately. Kevin De Bruyne has been balling out. So it'd be interesting to see if we can finally see Belgium do something, or if they're just going to end up choking it again. Moving on then, so we have Germany coming up next as another team to have a look out for in the 2022 World Cup. The latest team to be affected by the winner's curse. In 2018, Germany were 2014 World Cup winners. 2018, they didn't even make it out of the group, so kind of lost their identity there a bit. But Hansi Flick has come in as manager, and he's completely turned around Germany. It's been very amazing to see with the likes of Neuer, Ter Stegen, Sané, Werner. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not this group of players can push forward. We know what Hansi Flick did with Bayern is going to be very tedious. It's going to be very nice. I feel like Germany finally have something to do, and they have something to prove considering they got eliminated in the group stages last time around. From one 2014 World Cup finalist to another, Argentina is another team to watch out, and you can probably guess why. With this being Lionel Messi's potential last World Cup, Argentina has been picking up their form as of recent. 2018 was not their year. They barely made it out of the group stages. They got eliminated by France in the next round. But since then, Argentina has kind of flipped around, completely being Copa America winners and winning the Finalissima against Italy. It's going to be interesting to see with this group of players, with the likes of Di Maria, Lautaro Martinez, Dibu Martinez, Rodrigo de Paul. It's going to be interesting to see how far they could go and whether or not Lionel Messi can take Argentina on his back one final time and potentially win the World Cup. Do it for maybe Maradona in this case, but Argentina is one of those teams to look out. For me, they're heavy favorites. I actually think they're going to win the World Cup, but they are one of the heavy favorites to be able to win this World Cup, so kind of keep an eye out for them. Moving on then from Argentina, we have another team that's actually very well balanced in terms of potential young talent and experience, and it's going to be Spain. Spain has in their potential squad, they have Pedri, Gavi, Eric Garcia, Jordi Alba, Morata, David De Gea potentially, and it's looking like a nice team to be well balanced in between players with experience and players that are just bursting onto the scene. So it's going to be interesting to see, because Spain has one of the younger squads, how 19 and 17 year olds are going to be able to push forward with Spain, and whether or not Luis Enrique is going to be able to potentially coach this team in one of the more difficult tournaments. He has proven that they have what it takes, as they were Euro 2021 semi-finalists, and they did pretty well in the Nations League as well. Have to keep an eye out on Barca youngsters, see how well they do, or overall on the Spain youngsters, see if they could potentially put Spain on their back and push forward as far as they can. From Spain, we move over to England, who is another team I have out to keep an eye on. England specifically, notoriously, is pretty good in terms of international fixtures and stuff, but Gareth Southgate has made questionable choices and has made questionable squads in order to do the international scene. But we are talking about the Euro 2020 finalists that came in second place. Unfortunately, lost to Italy, and they were 2018 World Cup semi-finalists as well. So with a more maturing squad now, considering the players they had in 2020, considering they had in the Euro, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Gareth Southgate can do with this team, actually, as a matter of fact, with the likes of Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Trent, Reece James, Trippier. It's going to be vital. I think England has such a nice, talent base, but there's something lacking. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Gareth Southgate. I don't know if it's just the players or if they're just getting unlucky in general. But England hasn't been able to, take that final step. They made it far, but they're just missing that little tiny clinical thing to go ahead and clinch the title. Will it be time, with Queen Elizabeth's death? With Queen Elizabeth's death, will England try, feel a little bit more motivated and push for the World Cup in order to honor her? Or will Gareth Southgate overthink it and, take the wrong group of players? It's going to be interesting to see them. Leaving England behind, we are going to go ahead and move on to our World Cup winners, defending champs, France. It's going to be, France is a little bit of a picky one, because if you look at their squad, it's incredible. You have the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Benzema, Tchouaméni, Varane, Lloris. They've all been playing fantastic. I don't know what France does. I don't know how France gets all these types of players. It's such a nice squad, amazing players. They've been balling out this season, but will the Champions curse get to them? Will France choke and potentially not make it out of the group stage? Or will they make it out of the group stage but not go as far as everybody thought? If you look at the squad that France has, it's incredible. It's ridiculous. But will this curse get to them? I'm not entirely sure. I, for one, genuinely think they might, because if you were to go ahead and look at the fact how they played in the Euros and how they've been playing in the Nations League, they left a lot to desire. They weren't looking like the France that won the World Cup. They were looking they were lacking that quality in there with Didier Deschamps. Is it time for him to go? I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that he's not making France play to their highest, the potential, that he's missing just a bit here and there. It'll be interesting to keep up with France. I think France genuinely should be going far in this World Cup, but you never know. You never know with football, and that's what makes it incredible. Will the Champions curse get to them? I'm not entirely sure, but here we go. And this is the final team I have to keep an eye out for, and it's Brazil. These men from Brazil have been playing their life out. Neymar has been balling, Vinicius Jr. has been balling, Anthony has been balling, Rafinha has been balling, Martinelli has been balling, and that's just the attackers. If you look at the rest of their team and their potential squad, it's ridiculous. And for many, Brazil, this is Brazil's year. This is Brazil's year to go ahead and finally win the World Cup. And, you know, it's probable because they have won the most World Cups in general. They've won 5, most in any other nation. And honestly, if you ask me, Brazil has a very nice chance of going far in this tournament. But and genuinely, I don't know if there's anything that can stop them, to be fair. I was trying to think of anything, but Brazil looking very scary for me, and specifically because they play such a nice flowing football. You know, they have that sauce to them, their flair, that Brazilian flair. It's going to be interesting to watch how each and every single one of these players balls out in this tournament, and could they potentially be the World Cup winners. That is it for today, guys. That is all the teams I have to keep an eye out for this World Cup. Let me know in the comments below if there's any teams I missed, or if there's any teams you are going to be specifically watching for any particular reason. And as always, guys, have a good one. Like and subscribe. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.